I know I'm positive in most of my watch reviews. I only like to review watches that I'm interested in, that have a nice level of quality and detail. But I will tell you, this Glashutte Original SeaQ from the Specialist Collection, this one is on another level, and I'm really impressed by the watch as a complete package, the finishing, the size, the fit, the dial details, the lovely bracelet, the expansion system on the clasp. This one is an expensive watch, retailing at $9,900 on the bracelet. So that puts it right up there in price with the Rolex Submariner, and you guys can see my Hulk next to the SeaQ. So similarly sized, similarly priced. You will be able to get discounts on Glashutte, which is really nice. Something that you would not be able to get on a comparable Submariner. But you guys can see this is a luxury level dive watch, and they have just absolutely nailed this release. They've done a perfect job, and I have very few negative elements to say. In fact, really, they're going to be personal preference in every instance. Now let's talk about the watch that this is based off of. In 1969, they released a watch called the Specimatic Type RPTS 200, which was a dive watch, and I'll put the picture here on the screen. You guys can see the modern release here. This SeaQ is very true to that original watch, with the large Arabics, the large rectangular indices on the dial, the kind of 62 MAS case that it's not an exact copy, but you can see where Glashutte got the design inspiration from Japan, and this version has such a good fit on wrist. Now, I know I'm fawning over the watch. Let me try to get a grip on myself. But take a look at this fit. Look at the way the lugs kind of arc down and follow the natural curvature of your wrist. Pairing that with the coin edging, the sloped ceramic bezel, and this box sapphire crystal that raises proud of the bezel, it is a very comfortable fit. And the finishing, guys, the finishing is top notch. This is going to be nicer than what you would find on the Rolex Submariner. And I really like the vertical brushing on the case side. I like how thin this is. It's about 10 millimeters in overall height to the top of the bezel, and then the rest of the height comes with this dramatic box sapphire crystal that carries inner anti-reflective treatment. And if you get the watch in the right angle, you see some very nice distortion of these large printed Arabic markers, the Made in Germany designation, and the large minute hand, which is fairly dominant in form and reaches all the way to the end of the dial. You can get some distortion on that black polished handset. So guys, let me emphasize again, this is top level finishing and details. And yes, it does favorably stack up to really any watch at its comparable price point. And for me, that is mostly the Blancpain Bathyscaphe, the Rolex Submariner, and here with the SeaQ from Glashutte. Now let's talk about the bezel action. This will have absolutely no backplay. It's a very quiet sound, very mechanical feeling, and I've enjoyed the operation of the bezel. I do prefer the bezel on the Submariner. I think that one really is best in class, but this one is very satisfying to operate. There's a high contrast when it comes to the full indexing, and your triangular marker at the top of the bezel is lumed. So let's do the lume shot now. As you guys can see, we have Superluminova in the old radium tone. So I know not everyone is a fan of this look in natural light. You don't like the tan, you don't like the warm hues. I really don't have any issue with it, but in low light it does glow pretty potently, comparable to C3, nicer than C1, but not quite as long lasting as BGW9. So I actually like the quality of the luminescence. And if we go in on a macro level and take a look at the dial, It is likewise very sharp, very clean, very balanced, crisp white printing. And you'll even notice that white printing frames each one of these indexes and Arabic numerals. So I like the bold look. It's not to everyone's taste, but I think it's very clean. And you get the dial in the right light. This does not look black. You see a little bit of sun ray grain, and then you get it in direct sunlight, and you see the bronze and the brown come to play, and how that ties in with the tan of the Arabics and hands. The look is so clean, guys. It's hard for me to emphasize just how sharp this looks in person. It very much is an impressive luxury watch. The crown action, very smooth. I would say this is nicer than what I've experienced on any of my Omegas, and on par, if not more smooth than what I've experienced with my Rolexes. So the tactile details are going to be very satisfying. And they should be. This is a watch that is the luxury price point level, so you want to feel the quality, you want to see the hand finishing, you want to really to see where your money's going, in a handcrafted, well-executed design that is very comfortable and versatile. Now, one of the things I enjoy most is this bracelet. You'll notice it has a unique construction. Every one of these links is removable, fully articulating, great drape on wrist, very solid and confidence inspiring with the construction and how it feels, how it lays flat over this engraved case back. And the clasp is the highlight. We have a push button release here and a polished logo in the center, which if you compress, it's a hidden micro extension system where you can adjust the travel of the bracelet. And I believe Glashutte was the first brand to do on-the-fly adjustability on the clasp, and I can respect that. This is very well done. Now let's take a look at the case back. I mentioned it does have a nice engraving here with a mix of high polish, brush, and matte finishing. I think the design is attractive, though I would love to see the hand finished movement. The caliber 3911 that carries 25 joules, 40 hours of power reserve, and beats away at 28,800 beats per hour. But if you opt for the 43.5 panorama date version, that one does have a sapphire exhibition case back where you can see a larger movement with some more impressive specifications, but that one will set you back quite a bit more. I believe there's a $4,000 premium for that version. Now let's wrap up the video. I've really been positive on this watch. I love the fit, I love the finishing, I love the tactile elements, I like the design and execution of the dial, the details, the bracelet, the clasp micro adjustment system. If I were to nitpick anything, it would be the bracelet carries polished center links, but the end link is brushed in the center, which looks a bit odd. So I would like to see either an entirely brushed bracelet, or I would like to see Glashutte polish that center portion of each one of the end links. I think that could be a good thing. And then the other personal preference would be I'd like to see the movement because Glashutte, they do a great job in hand finishing their movements with thermally tempered screws, beautiful striping, and just overall very attractive. So apart from that, really, I've got to nitpick because it's a great release. And I think if you're new to this price point, you definitely want to go with the name brand. You want to go with the Rolex Submariner. If you're not new to the luxury price point, maybe you've owned a few Rolexes, Omegas, Breitlings, Zeniths, Grand Seikos, you will appreciate the quality of Glashutte. I mean, it's so apparent, and this one is such an enjoyable watch. And it comes in a few colors. There is a limited edition version of 69 units, so there is that exclusivity factor for those that like to collect pieces that not everybody has. I think this one is definitely a worthy addition to the price point and worth the going rate. So if you're interested, I will put a link to Exquisite Timepieces. They are the Glashutte authorized dealer that lent this one in for presentation and for comparison. You can get discounts with Glashutte, so talk to Nick, get some quotes, ask him any questions. If you want to trade in your watch, if you want to upgrade your daily driver, he would be a great person to talk to. Really enthusiastic watch fan, really nice guy. So his contact information is in the description. Big thank you to Exquisite Watches. And guys, let me know if you have any questions, if I missed anything. We will do a full comparison with the Submariner. We'll talk details and specifics. I know I kind of touched on them here in this video, and that will appear in my exclusive Patreon group. So stay tuned for that, and a link to join that will be in the description of this video for those of you that are interested in supporting me. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have questions, and we'll see you in the next video.